Manas, you brought a phone? Did not bring. Yesterday brought a. Yesterday, homework everyone completed. Completed homework. Everyone take out homework. Everybody, please take out your homework. Why partial learning? Three sums. Three sums. Did done or did done? How many gave I yesterday? 10. 3 you did not do. 7 you completed. You? You Pasha, saying malice la formula. Don't feel tension, ma. I mean a devil or anything. Tell me. You only did not this problem. Shall I go? Shall I stand? Hearing, huh? Tell me. You did everything? And going away, you remember. Where? Do it similar. Not. Why? I said one golden method. Please don't sleep. Don't go to bed by pending this work. It is very bad for your life. Understood? Okay. Postponement. One work is there. Your regular work you should not miss. I'm telling many times. Successful people will never postpone, will never escape from work. After all, 10 problems. 20 minutes if you sit, you can finish. The wrong answer, wrong justification. What Manas you? You did not do it. Why? Easy, huh? I was about to. What concepts? Huh? What revising concept? 10 minutes you have to revise concept and you have to do. The body, 1 ounce of fear also not there. About career. 1 ounce of fear. I send one pro forma. Everyone have seen. Your estimate average is a dangerous sign. Warning sign. Warning sign. Only 2 confirmed students are there. What is your average? 385. What is your target? This attitude will you reach? My words will be painful, but I am warning you. Please, you will realize you will work. Don't think negative on me. Understood? Are your positive feedback? If I won't talk like that, good for me. But I don't need to talk. Parents trusted you. You are doing like this. Wrong, no? Wrong or not? They give 100 problems, 10 problems, that problems will come. 150, 200 problems are there in material. I did not tell to do everything. No? You are also 5 hours, you are doing blunder. I will not hear anything. You, why? OBC right now not required. No? Application not required during admission. Change the rules are changed. Non-creamy layer during the admission only have to submit.
Last year they gave it.
Okay.
Income also there.
Anyway, send your father. Don't go. Preparation is important. Signature. Signature do. When the time comes, you go and do signature. I know these things. Tahsildar office, everything. Anyway, finish the. Even though that work is there, I'm telling this work is important. Understood? Should not get admission under your reservation. General category, out trial you have to go, I'm telling. Then only you can clear your PG. Understood? Then only you can clear MS. Understood? MBBS you cannot make much money. Understood? Out trial 650 marks plus you have to step into MBBS. That is my vision. This border cut-off mark you could not step, it is waste of. Amshita, you going to apply for NEET? How many hours? 4 hours. Huh? So, Prem sir will help me. Here you can take the.
No, sir, if any clarification needed, he told to contact, but he won't apply.
Who said?
Sandivan told.
No. We should do.
Sir, on the day I asked.
Sir, any mistake committed by humans cannot be corrected. So I'm told he'll help you for that applying.
You won't apply.
Helping means whatever we needed, the documents, that he will explain us. We should take them as apply.
Okay, filling you will do mistake. Okay. You madam, you are coming late today, 12 o'clock. Both of you. See, talking is waste of my time. People are Roshni, you yesterday went to. You should watch recording. I said, no. You people, tomorrow, please don't come to center. It's a waste of time. If you don't do work means waste of time. Tell to your parents. Understood? Unnecessarily they're trusting you are cheating them. Cheating parents is almost all cheating God's own. Understood? It's a big sin. Today I have to tell her, you are what? Any foundation students or long-term students? Long-term students, how much you have to be committed towards the target? Do it tomorrow. The asteroid is hitting also, this work should not be stopped, I am telling you. They are common. Applying NEET, applying OBC, creamy layer, fever, cough are common. You not stopped eating food na yesterday? Roshni? Yesterday you went out na? 3 times you have eaten food na? Eaten or not? Tell me. Maybe 4 times also, 5 times also. Correct or not? Say yes or no? How you did not skip the meal? Understood? Your comforts you did not leave. Understood? You did not leave, na? Yes, you wanted to OBC creamy layer, non-creamy layer, but you ate food, na? You went for what? Neet, neet applying. You did not skip the meal, na? Skip Ramjan, Rosa, na? That Rosa during the, I mean, fasting, you break the fast or not? That means you ate the food. Correct or not? You did not skip that. You skipped this work. Oh, tomorrow I have this reason. You will ask means I will tell. Correct or not? For your stomach, how food important? For your brain, homework is that much important. Understood? Having interest is towards MBBS is not important. How hard work you are doing is important. Then only you will become a great person. If you want to become a great person, great work you have to do. Great sacrifice you have to do. Eyes will pain. Hands will pain. Spinal cord will pain by sitting. After all these pains only, finally success will come. All comforts, all luxuries. I will not do work. 3 times eating, sleeping nicely. Result will not come. You come, will not come. Correct or not? Will you do it tomorrow, everyone? I don't want to hear any reason. First work. First work, then only food, mother, father, neat application, everything. First work. First your goal. That's all. Understood? Okay. So, okay. Today, some. You have taken, you should take 30 degrees. You have taken 60 degrees. Right? Think in different method. Let me. Syllabus is not completed. Now in the evening numerical session, I will explain that problem. Okay. So let me. Fresnel distance. Fresnel distance in the sense. This is one single slit. You should take one cardboard and you have to pierce one hole. This is one plane of the screen. And what is this? This is one slit plane. It will have one single slit, and this is one monochromatic light is there. What is the distance between the plane of the screen and plane of the slit? Capital D. And wavelength of the color that you have used is lambda. Do you say for all these distances, whatever the distance capital D you maintain, can you obtain well-defined diffraction pattern? Please respond. For all the distances, is it possible? For greater distance, it is not possible. For example, this is 1 millimeter is there. Here 1 meter is okay. 10 meters if you keep, will you observe the well-defined diffraction pattern? No. So, the maximum distance between plane of the slit and plane of the screen, where you can see the well-defined diffraction pattern is called what? Fresnel distance. Fresnel distance is defined represented with the symbol df. The screen distance. This distance between the plane of the slit and plane of the screen is more than the Fresnel distance. What will happen? You cannot see the diffraction pattern. Understood? That light will lose its wave nature and it will acquire ray nature. I mean, wave optics is deviating when the distance is more than this df. Are you understanding? When the waves are not performing, when the light is not performing wave, actually diffraction is a wave phenomenon. If you keep this d value more than the Fresnel distance, you are not obtaining diffraction pattern, means light is not showing wave nature. You understand? This is also called the limit of the wave concept. You understand? So I can write one point. The distance between the plane of the slit and plane of the screen is more than Fresnel distance. What will happen? Respond. What will happen? No diffraction taking place. No diffraction takes place. Understood? So it deviates from the wave nature. Understood? So let's say that length of the slit equal to how many meters? A meters. And there is one point P. Experimentally, it is detected that the radius of the central maxima, the radius of that airy disk or radius of that zeroth maxima, compulsory it should be how much? A. When y is equal to A exactly, then what will happen? You can see this. You can see the well-defined diffraction pattern. Say, sir, right or not? So here I can write. If you join the midpoint of this slit and the point P, I mean this first minimum only, na? Zeroth maxima is trapped between the first minimum only. Say, sir, no? Understood? So I can write here the angular position of the first minimum, how much theta equal to? Okay, what is the angular position of the first minimum? You know, everyone, A sin of theta equal to how much here? 1 into lambda. Theta value how much here? Lambda divided by A. Theta is nothing but sin theta. Understood? Theta, all entire device is a very compatible, smaller. So the angle is also small approximated. So theta can be written as lambda by A and tan theta can be written opposite side by what? Adjacent side. As I told you, to occur maximum well-defined diffraction pattern, what the condition is proved? Y compulsory should be equal to A here. So substitute Y value A. So what do you get here? Lambda by A equal to how much here? A divided by capital D. Yes or no? So D is nothing but Fresnel distance. So we obtain Fresnel distance. df equal to how much here? A square by lambda. This is the most important value. Direct results will come, friends. It's a memorized result. Calculate the Fresnel distance. If you know the size of the slit, if you know the wavelength of the color, you can calculate the Fresnel distance. Can you obtain the Fresnel distance? Even D is more than DF. Can you obtain the wave pattern or diffraction pattern?
No.
You cannot resolve. You cannot see the diffraction pattern. Only what do you see? Only you will see two bright spots. I mean, completely the wave concept is collapsed and you can see only two bright spots, alternative bright fringes, dark fringes. You could not see. So this is called Rayleigh's criterion. Rayleigh's criteria in the sense you can see only diffraction pattern, or you can resolve this alternative dark fringes and white fringes at this condition. When D is equal to DF only, you can see this diffraction pattern. My point clear, everyone? Now we are coming to the some devices. The optics is concerned. Many optical instruments are there. Our human eye is also one optical instrument. What is the power of our human eye? Tell me. Far objects also you can see. Nearest objects also you can see. Eye has that magnification power. Artificial lenses which are made of glass, you cannot adjust the focal length. No? Focal length is fixed only. If you take any artificial convex lens, can you change the focal length? You cannot change the focal length. But your human eye, by using this convex lens, every human eye, here one convex lens is there, here also one convex lens is there. They are connected by the ciliary muscles. What is the nature of the ciliary muscles? They can elongate and they can contract. They can increase the size of the lens. They can decrease the size of the lens. Means you can increase the focal length of the eye lens. You can decrease the focal length of the eye lens. Yes or no? So you can see the farthest point as well as you can see the nearest point. Means your eye has that power. Self-adjusting power is there. But for artificial optical instruments like telescope, microscope, you have to change the distance between the two lenses. I think you might have been noticed when you are operating telescope, two lenses will be there or three lenses will be there. You will change the distance between them. To obtain well-defined image, you have to adjust the distances between the two lenses so you can change the focal length. Yes or no? I mean, I am seeing this curtain, for example, very sharp image forming on my retina. On the retina, I am seeing this arrow mark means on my retina, inverted arrow mark will form. Then, but how I can see this? When this information taken to optical nerve, the neuron, it will be inverted again. So then you can see this kind of image. That is the power of an eye. That is the power of any instrument. Understood? For example, in the sky, two stars are there. Two stars are there. I mean, twin stars are there. Triplet stars are there. Triplet stars in the sense they are revolving in the one common circle at the common center. But as they are very far, your eye cannot resolve them separately. Again, I am telling this point. Now I can resolve the image. Here two students are sitting. My eye can resolve. Resolving ability means what? Showing the two images separately. Correct or not? Means my eye has proper resolving power. Now when I am standing very far in the sense, I am seeing very far, some 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer I am seeing. Some group of people are standing. Can I resolve how many number of people are there? Instead of 10 people, I can say only 5 or 6 are there. Why? Because the distance matter. As the distance between that object and instrument is bigger, greater, what will happen? That optical instrument resolving power will decrease. You are seeing the sky in the night time. You are feeling that is a one star only. But actually, that star may be 2 stars or 3 stars also. Yes or no? Means your eye cannot resolve that two stars. It failed to separate the two images. That's what we are using telescope. What is the use of the telescope? It will magnify the, it will have the magnified view, and it can separate the two stars. Yes or no? To resolve the images separately, there is a compulsion of using this optical instrument. So every optical instrument have a resolving power. Distance is more means that optical instrument will not help. Resolving power will decrease. I said no. Understood? If two people are standing at 5 kilometers, can my eye resolve them? No, you will tell only one person may be standing. So yes or no? So every optical instrument will have one very important power that is called resolving power. But before that, let me introduce one more very important physical parameter that is called limit of resolution. What is that? Limit of resolution. Limit of resolution, there are two types. One is linear distance, and other one is angular distance. For suppose here one optical instrument is there. O means what? Optical instrument. Maybe your eye, maybe your microscope, maybe your telescope, or it may be any convex lens, or it may be any concave lens, any optical instrument. Are you understanding? In front of this optical instrument, there are two images like two stars, I1 and I2. I will join this optical instrument to separate these images. To separate the images, there should be some minimum distance only required. Little gap is maintained. Yes or no? There is no gap. Can you resolve them? Say yes or no. To separate the images, minimum that two persons should stand at minimum separation. Say yes or no. Then only that optical instrument can resolve. No, if there is no separation means, can it resolve? No. So the minimum separation is required between the two images, between the two objects. There is no rule that you have to see only image. Now I am seeing you, your object. Yes or no? I am seeing one photograph, that is image, na? Yes or no? There is no rule that you have to see only object. You can see the image also. You are going to a film theater. What you are seeing actually? Screen you are seeing. Correct only, right? You are correct, right? Not tell you are wrong. Screen, that video information you are seeing. That is object image. That is the image of object. That projector person projecting the image via convex lens. Yes or no? So you are not seeing the object.
Screen is object.
You are not seeing screen.
Image of
See, the olden days, reel is there. Reel, you know. Reel means like this one black film is there. One hero is, for example, is in one acting. So light will focus on him. Understood? So the image of this person will be focused on the, what is it? On the screen. Yes or no? That or not? So now, you tell me whether you watched image or object. Image of that object you watch. In our day-to-day life, we are watching object as well as image also. You are seeing your beautiful faces in the mirror morning. Correct or not? What you are seeing actually?
No, sir.
Okay. Understood. Okay. Tell me, truth or not? Morning. You will go to mirror or not? Tell me. What you are seeing? Image only. Understood. So it can be two objects or two images. Right or not? So to resolve that objects, to resolve the images, there should be some minimum separation. That minimum separation is only called a limit of resolution. If there is no minimum separation, if you use how many powerful telescopes, you cannot resolve. So there should be minimum separation is required. There should be some minimum angular separation is required. Then only you can resolve the two images. Yes or no? Correct or not? Okay, so that minimum separation is required. It's called what? Limit of resolution. There are two types of limit of resolution. One is linear limit of resolution. One is angular limit of resolution. How can you write this relation? For suppose if the distance between the instrument and the image is something capital D, can you use the concept of arc here? Please say yes or no. You can use the concept of arc. What I can write? Small d minimum equal to, linear limit of resolution equal to how much here? Capital D into angular limit of resolution. The relation between angular limit of resolution and linear limit of resolution. Understood. Now, we will apply this situation for the real optical instrument. This is just I have explained for human eye or any, is applicable for all kinds of optical instrument. Now, if you consider any specific instrument, every instrument is having resolving power. Does your eye have resolving power that can resolve the two stars? No, it is highly impossible. You are feeling that is single star, but actually maybe 2 stars, 3 stars, 5 stars, or 10 stars also. The universe, many group of stars are revolving at their common center. The problem is not with your distance or a problem with your eye. Your eye does not have that much resolving power. So the resolving power again define. Resolving power of any optical instrument. RP means what here? Resolving power. Resolving power of any optical instrument equal to either reciprocal to linear limit of resolution or reciprocal to angular limit of resolution. When you consider microscope, you will take this. Sorry, when you consider microscope, you will take this. When you consider telescope, you will take that. If you take one microscope, for example, you take any microscope. This is the M. M means what here? Microscope, and here this is what here? Image I1. And what is this? Is image I2. And what we can write here? The microscope has some angular resolution theta minimum. This is the D minimum. Then the resolving power. The lens that you have used in the microscope is mu. And you write the resolving power equal to how much? 1 by D minimum equal to how much? Mu sin theta. 2 mu sin theta whole divided by how much? 1.22 into lambda. This is the expression for what here? Resolving power of a microscope. So direct questions will come. Where theta is called here, angular position of that 0 is first minimum. Lambda is called what here? Sorry, this is the angular position of this one mu is called refractive index of the lens we have used. Lambda is called wavelength of that color. When you are using white light, usually the atmosphere we are using. Any problem? Yeah, 2 mu sin theta. 2 mu sin theta. 2 mu sin theta. And this mu into sin theta is called a numerical aperture of that microscope. Sometimes questions will be coming from this mu sin theta also. What is mu sin theta is called? Numerical aperture. Numerical aperture. Okay, so that's the resolving power of the microscope. If you look into the telescope, you can define the resolving power of the telescope equal to how much? Reciprocal for the minimum angle of resolution. Minimum angle of resolution. Or minimum angular limit resolution also you can call. And can be written as capital D divided by 1.22 into lambda. Capital D is nothing but diameter of the convex lens, or diameter of the opening of the telescope. What is this? Diameter of the opening of the telescope, and as usually lambda is nothing but the wavelength of the color that you have used. Students, direct questions will come. You should not lose the marks here. So, very simple, only easily you can grab the score. Okay, so completely wave optics is completed, but unknowingly I made one mistake. Actually, in the last week, LR circuits 2 are there. ECLR circuits, ACLR circuits. We discussed the ACLR circuit. So I did not explain ECLR circuit. You also not noticed. I also not noticed. So last week only I watched the schedule. I realized that the topic I missed. Now I will explain that also. Very, very important. That's very easy also. Okay. So that is the DCLR circuit. Wave optics concept is completed. Evening we will discuss the numericals. That missed concept I will explain. ACLR circuit I explained, students. Understood? When the schedule also it was not clear. I thought LR circuit means it will come in the AC circuit. So I did not guess that is a DCLR circuit, but in the question paper, DCLR circuit questions came. So like that I realized. Now I'll explain the concept. It is a very, very important. Minimum one question will come in your very worthy concept. So let us start a DCLR circuit. DCLR series circuit. Okay, so DC means direct current. Direct current in the sense constant current. In the direction of the current is constant. Factor magnitude of the current also constant. So I am taking one inductor. One inductor of coefficient of self-inductance how much? Respond capital L, and this is one. Naturally, R is the internal resistance of the self-inductor. Separately, we will not connect any internal resistance, friends. The conducting wire, the inducting wire only, some internal resistance is there. Are you understanding my logic? Only we will connect only inductor to battery. Yes or no? Battery will offer some internal resistance. Yes or no? Conducting wires also will offer some internal resistance. Yes or no? Yes, inductor also will have some internal resistance. Now, some of these three internal resistance I am writing. Are you understanding? Separately, you are not writing any, you are not connecting any external resistance. This is called internal resistance. internal resistance of inductor, battery, and conducting wire. Now I am connecting one ideal cell. Let's say the EMF of the ideal cell, how much? E volt. Initially, switch is open. What I have done? Initially, the switch is open. Then when my observation started, switch is just closed. Switch is just closed. If you just close it, please respond. What will happen? Initially, very large amount of current increasing in a very less amount of time. Please listen to my point very carefully. When you just close the switch, there is a rapid increment in the original current, sudden increment in the current. And suddenly, in very less time, current is increasing in the inductor. There is a huge change in magnetic flux. Is a yes or no? Then what will happen? Respond. Then what will happen? At that moment, inductor will show the large opposition. Are you understanding? When you just close the switch, suddenly original current is increasing. Who will oppose in this? Inductor. Character is only that. What is the character of the induction? The self-induction concept we discussed. It always opposes the change in the original current. If original current is trying to increase, what is the role of the inductor it will do? It will try to decrease the current. That is the character of the coefficient of self-inductance. This is the opposition. That opposition is only called inductive reactance or inductive resistance. But anyway, after some time, what will happen? There is some current is flowing. Yes or no? Is a yes or no? Because of the strong opposition, initially, do you say, is there any current flowing in the circuit? Inductor effect is terrific initially. Initially in the sense when time equal to 0. I am asking you, is there any current in the inductor or in the branch? Cell is trying to increase the current initially. Who is strongly opposing? Inductor. I'm telling initially current is there. No. 0. Initially it is there in a few seconds, in a few microseconds. It is going to increase. But initially it is experiencing a huge opposition. So there is no current flowing in the circuit. There is no current flowing in the circuit here. There is no current flowing means what is the flux passing through the inductor? L into I only. There is no current means no magnetic flux. Understood? At this moment, it is acting like a pure resistor. Strong opposition is there, na? Yes or no? But anyway, driver cell is there. Driver cell nature also it will show, no? As it is opposing means it will never see quietly. It will pump the charge, na? So let's say after t seconds, what will happen? Let's say after t seconds, what is the current in the circuit? I is equal to how much? What is the current in the circuit? I ampere. In this direction current is flowing. Always high potential to low potential and high potential to low potential and low potential to what? High potential. Right or not? Let's say this is A point and this is what the B point and let's say this is C point. Then how I am walking? To apply the loop law. A to B I am walking. Then B to C I am walking. From C to A I am walking. When I am walking from A to B, What is potential drop across that? High to low I am walking. So minus L into di by dt. Yes or no? Voltage drop across inductor formula everyone knows very well. According to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Then I am stepping where from B to C. B to C means what? Minus I into capital R. Then again I am coming from C to A. Low to I mean what? Let's see equal to how much it should be? 0. Yes or no? Let us simplify. So here E I am sending this side. So what will happen? Minus L into dA by dt is equal to how much? E minus I into R. Observe the equation once. Tell me what are the variables this time? Definitely time always variable. 255 means after 1 minute, 256 time always changes, increases. As time changes, current changes in the circuit. Only two are variables. R is constant, EMF is constant, coefficient of self-inductance also constant. Understood? What is basic sense of max? One variable should be left side and another variable should be right side. Inside one minus. Okay, correct. She's correct. Minus E plus I into R. Very good, correct. Minus you send this side. So what will happen? L into d by dt equal to how much here? E minus I into capital R. What is the basic sense of max? One variable should be left side, one variable should be right side. I term, di term I will send left side. Time t term, dt term I will send right side. So what I will get? 1 by E minus I into R and into di is equal to how much here? 1 by L into dt. Understood? This is only small increment in the current in a very small increment in time. I want actually what I am trying. I want to detect after t seconds how much current flowing in the circuit. I am analyzing. So what I have to do? Integrate on either sides. When your experiment started, when time equal to 0. What is current in the circuit? 0 only. No? Initially, inductor is playing a very terrific role. Understood? That's what initial current is how much? 0. After some time, t seconds, what will happen? Current will become I ampere. Tell me what is integration of 1 by x formula? Not log x, ma. Ln of x. There is a lot of difference between ln and log. You can pronounce ln also. ln is very difficult to pronounce. Ln you can even that is that you go through that. What a ln means? Log base e. What is e value? 2.7. Ln of x means log base e will come. That's not log. Should never say log. Understood? So what is integration of 1 by x now? What I have to write? Ln of x. X means what here? E minus I into R. But in the place of x, many terms are there. So you have to keep divided and you have to differentiate in the denominator with respect to I. That is the max rule. Understood? We have to follow the rule. Rule we should not question. Max that rule. Understood? So put the limits from where to where? I equal to 0 to I equal to I. 1 by L is constant. I will take outside. But integration of 1 into dt? T and put the limits from where to where? 0 to t. Correct? So ln of E minus I into R and whole divided by what differentiation of EMF? But differentiation of EMF equal to how much? 0 minus capital R into or differentiation of I di by I, di how much here? 1. Correct? So and put the limits from where to where? I is equal to 0 to I ampere and 1 by L into put the limits from where to where? T minus 0. Correct? Minus R you bring this side. So what will happen? Okay. Ln of how much? T minus I into R equal to how much here? Minus R by L into T. Put the limits from where to where? I is equal to 0 to I is equal to how many ampere? I ampere. Put the I value. What do you get? Ln of T minus I into R minus ln of E equal to how much? Minus R by L into T here. What is ln of A minus ln of B value? Ln of A minus ln of B. So what I can write? Ln of E minus I into R divided by how much? EMF equal to how much? Minus R into T by capital R. Here ln means I told you base E will come where E value 2.7. For removing this ln on either sides I will power with E and this side also E. For E and this ln will cancel, will disappear. What will happen? E minus IR divided by E is equal to how much? E power minus RT by capital EMF you send this side. So what you can write? E minus IR equal to how much? E into E power minus RT by capital L. IR I am bringing this side. System I am bringing this side. So what will happen? Finally, I is equal to how much? E by R into 1 minus E power RT by capital L. The point here, everyone. So this is the when this term is coming, this term is called exponential increment. And as the time is increasing, current is also increasing exponential. Exponential means very rapidly it is increasing. You understand it? Okay, our exponential increment, if you plot the graph, graphical questions will come. If you plot the graph, this is called growth of current. What is that? Growth of current. The current in the y-axis and time in the x-axis, and this is the origin. So what will happen? Like this, current will keep on increasing. After some time, what will happen? Current will be saturated. Means maximum value it will allow. This is the exponential increment graph. After a long time, what will happen? This current will become maximum current. See the final expression, current at the time of t seconds equal to how much? E by R into 1 minus E power minus L by R into T. If you put T is equal to infinity, when after a long time, what do you get the current in the circuit?
RT sir, R by L. R by L.
Sorry. Thank you. RT by L here. Understood? If you put the T value infinity, what do you get? E power minus infinity will come, and 1 by E power infinity will come, and 1 by infinity means 0 will come. So this total term will become 0 and 1 minus 0 equal to how much? 1. So what is the maximum current or saturation current equal to E by capital R. So what is this here? The maximum current equal to how much here? E by
R.
capital R. Yes or no? Understood here? This is the maximum saturation current in the circuit. What is this? Maximum saturation current. When the current flowing in the circuit maximum is, that is called steady state current of. What is the name of that current? Steady state current of. Steady state current also. Steady state current or maximum current or saturation current. Is the point clear? And now, at a particular time, what will happen? We put T is equal to L by R. One intermittent state to analyze. Let's say after time, how much? L by R. After some time, L by R, that is called a time constant. What is the name of that?
Time constant.
Time constant. After one time constant, what is the current equal to here? E by R into bracket starts. How much that is? 1 minus e power minus R by L into T value. How much here? L by capital R. LL cancels out and RR cancels out. What is the current equal to here? E by R into 1 minus e power minus 1. So here E by R into 1 minus 1 by E. And what is the E value here? Take 2.71 something is there. 2.7 if you take enough. That E by R equal to how much? 1 by 2.7 means what? 2.7 minus 1 divided by 2.7. That equal to how much? 1.7 by 17 how much? Right? 17 by 27 to E by R. So the current in the circuit equal to how much? 1700 by 27 how much? To percentage I am writing. Percentage means compulsory you have to multiply with the 100. So I can write 1700 by 27 how much? For example, 3 9s are 3 6 are 3 5s are 15, 3 6 are 18, 3 6 are 18, and 3 6 are 18, and 9 1s are 9, 6 are 54. 9 6 are how much? 54. And approximately how much it will be? 63% like that. I mean, after one time constant, 9 1s are 9 6 are how much? 54 no. 2 will come 26. 26 means what? 9 3s are approximately 62.7 like that it will come. So 63% I am taking. So after one time constant, what is the current in the circuit? 63% of maximum current in the circuit. Here we have one statement. Definition of the time constant. How will you define time constant? The time after which the current becomes 63% of the maximum current is defined as a time constant. So here also we can mention after one time constant, how much that will be? 63% of what?
Maximum current.
Maximum current. Understood? Now, okay, so this is the growth of current in the LR circuit. Now, reverse phenomena after the botany class we will see. Reverse in the sense, to remove the cell, how current will decay. I mean, how current will decrease. That is the next session. That is concept called decay of current. This is growth of current in the LR circuit. If you remove the battery, what will happen? Current will decay. That we will see in the next session. Thank you, friends.